And very good morning to our lecturers and fellow friends. I am Zulkifli. As a presenter will present our online assignment. As we know, China has announced an outbreak in December 2019 of form pneumonia with unknown causes. The first cases occurred at Wuhan seafood and suspected hub of the outbreak. Meanwhile, in Malaysia, the first cases were detected on 4 February 2020. The first cases of COVID-19 in Malaysia were happened on a 41 years old man had recently returned from Singapore. When he started to develop a fever and a cough, as a result, Malaysia suffered huge losses in the tourism industry as many tourists from China cancelled their flight tours due to the country's door being closed. The Prime Minister of Malaysia declared the 4 stages of the movement control (MCO) in order to fully contain the virus and restrict the transmission.
The impact of the COVID-19 pandemic on the tourism sector. Among the effects are the government facing huge losses. Due to COVID-19, the government to bear huge in the tourism sector. This is because national borders are already closed and tourists or visitors pass the prescribed procedure to enter. Therefore, the government suffer loss as no tourists come to travel. Next, hospitality industry. Strategies to flatten the COVID-19 curve such as community lockdown, social distancing, stay at home, travel and mobility restriction have resulted in temporary closures of many hospitality business, decrease the demand for that will allow to continue to operate. Almost all restaurants were asked to limit their operation to only take-out. Restriction placed on travel and stay-at-home order issued by the authorities led to sharp decline in hotel occupancy and revenue. The second effect is airline industry. From travel restriction to flight cancellation, the airline industry has been the hardest hit industry during the COVID-19 pandemic. This caused the beginning of the MCO has called down its operation, introduced salary cuts and offer unpaid leave to over 13,000 of its employees.
About the effect of the COVID-19 towards transportation tourism. As we know, the airline industry players have highlighted that the current travel bans and declining demand around the world have put the loss-making carrier at risk of bankruptcy. Last September, the Air Transport Action Group (ATAG) predicted that about 4.8 million airline employees and half of the 87.7 million jobs related to the aviation sector were threatened by the crisis. All 3 Malaysian airlines, namely AirAsia, Malindo Air and Malaysia Airlines, have initiated salary cut range from 10% to 100% and unpaid leave depending on the salary range and position. Cruise lines are expected to be paying out substantial sums to the passenger in refunds, compensation and cancellation fees, subject to the relevant ticket terms and conditions. They also have to bear the cost of the docking at ports where ships are quarantined and the cost of maintaining and operating ships. As the virus spreads, the effect on the transportation tourism will become more quantifiable, although it is unlikely to be a positive outlook for 2020. In the long term and short term may affect repayments under financing arrangement and create general cash flow problems to the all transportation companies.
In conclusion, there are many negative impacts of COVID-19 pandemic on transportation segment of Malaysia travel and tourism industry. Our study has shown that the outbreak of COVID-19 has hugely and adversely affected the tourism industry in Malaysia. Furthermore, due to the Malaysia government enforcing travel restrictions and bans, the number of tourists has decreased. That will drop the number of the users of transportation in the tourism industry, especially in the airline industry. Not only airline transportation, but also the other transportation being affected.